This is Richard Kuyava, Professor of Geography, St. Michael's College. This is a quick demonstration of how to gather and clean and restructure the age, sex data from an ACS, American Community Survey, table rather than from a decennial census table. What I'm actually going to do here, there is a shortcut way to do this by putting in the table name and the place in this box and then just pressing go and the data will show up. But I'm going to do it old school and look for the individual selections in menus so that you can actually see again if you've done some earlier work on this, or see for the first time if you haven't, where the other data structures and the other choices are made. So first step, we are going to identify the data set we want. So I'm going to click on topics. I'm going to click on the plus sign next to data set. I am going to choose, in this case, the 2015 5-year ACS estimates. And those are population estimates because they're based on a survey. It says 5-year estimates, which means that there's 5 years of ACS, American Community Survey data involved. And that means that as a result of that, as a result of pooling and adjusting for those samples, the margin of error and the confidence in the actual data that's provided goes up. You'll notice if you're looking in the fall of 2017 that there are some 2016 1-year estimates. You could use those if you want to, but the margins of error on those estimates will be higher because they're just based on 1 year. Let's click on the 5-year estimates. And you'll notice what happens is it goes over into your selections. And so now I can close this box. And a set of tables appears, which is great. But we have one other thing to do before we select the table we want. We want to select a geography. And you may, in your experience, whether you're at St. Michael's College, University of Vermont, or another institution, you may have been using counties for this, but I wanted to demonstrate how you can, in fact, use other geographical scales. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to pick a county that's in Texas. I'm going to pick a de jure territory that's in Texas, and I'm just going to pick a congressional district. And I don't actually know the congressional districts of Texas out of my head. They're numbered. But we'll just see what we get. And so the geography type, so I click on geographies. This window opens. I click on the drop down and I'm going to choose congressional district. And I'm going to choose Texas. And I'm going to choose, only one is available. So that's kind of fun. So maybe not all congressional districts are available in Texas for this 2015 5-year estimate. So that might influence your geography choices a little bit. I beg your pardon. What am I doing? That's for the 114th Congress. That's a very poor move. And I'm just going to choose, just by long shot, the 15th district. So ignore that you can't get the district data. I just flubbed that. Let's add it to our selection. And now we've got, I'll close the window. Now we've got the data set. We want the 2015 ACS. The congressional district is the 15th in Texas. And now we want the age and sex. And what we're going to do is we're going to click on age and sex. We're going to view the table. Just want to do a quick inspection of the table so we know what we're doing. And you can see here there are some familiar age cohorts. But notice here how instead of having raw numbers for the sex disaggregation, we have percentages. And we're going to work on those in a minute in Excel to get them back to the raw numbers we need for the population pyramid template. We also have the margin of error here. And let's just scroll down, and you'll notice that we're also provided a median age, which in this case is 30. We also get a sex ratio. We also get the dependency ratio, and then we also get an old age and child dependency ratio. And if you're at St. Michael's College in the fall of 2017, you'll remember that we projected the old age dependency ratio in Germany to reach 60, 55 or 60 in the mid to late 21st century. Here in this congressional district, it's 17.9. And notice here that these don't have any units because they're ratios. They're ratios. And ratios don't have any units. And that's a little social science thing that you might have picked up on in class. That's the quick inspection. Let's download it. And there's a trick here, so pay very close attention to what happens. We're going to click on download, and you get two choices. It says use the data or view the data. And it would sound like we want to do use the data, but don't do that. Use view the data, choose Excel, and leave it at portrait, leave it the paper size, and press OK. And what it's doing is it's building that spreadsheet, and now it's ready to download. And I'm in Chrome, so it's going to appear in the bottom left-hand corner. You can see that it's downloaded right down here, and you can see the little flashing beacon. And I'm going to open this spreadsheet, and it's going to open in Excel with just a twist of luck. And I'm going to enable editing. And there are some notes here, and you're welcome to read those notes. There are some notes at the top, and then there are also some notes at the bottom. And you get a little bit of a sense of how things are calculated. And notice here, just so that we can be sure, the way the dependency ratio, sorry about this, it's jumping around. The way the dependency ratio is calculated is by dividing under 18 and over 65 by 18 to 64. And so what we have here is we have adjusted in the census for the fact that a much higher proportion of people aren't working as children, so we don't count them. So that's sort of the age at which people graduate from high school, 18. And then it assumes that once you're post 18, you are working, although you might not be. And you can see the disaggregations, and you can see some other notes, and you can see a way to cite it, and you can see an explanation of symbols in the table. I'm going to leave that to you to look at if you're interested. I want to focus on the table itself. And what we're actually going to do is we're going to do some manipulations of this table. And the way we're going to do that is we're going to convert these percentages. If you look at those, the column of male estimates, they're in percentages. We need those in raw numbers, as I already mentioned. And so what we're going to do is we're actually going to build a raw numbers table over here. And so watch carefully what we do, follow things all the way through. And so first thing we're going to do is going to do a bit of housekeeping to make sure that we know what we're getting over here. And so I'm going to highlight the labels here for age cohorts, and I'm going to copy them, Control-C on a PC, and I'm going to go over to this cell O11, doesn't matter which one you use, but I'm going to press Control V, and we now have some labels for our next step. Now, we also want to calculate a male population and a female population, and I'm actually going to put a check in to illustrate something, and I'm going to make a row that is a total. Okay, so we're now ready to do the calculation, and you're going to learn here, if you don't already know, how to make a couple of Excel formulae. First of all, we need to make just one little, two, but the same operation, little piece of housekeeping on these estimates. And you'll notice that they have this little green triangle. And so I'm going to highlight those, and I'm going to click on this little drop down right here, and I'm going to convert that cell to number because it's been stored as a text value. There we go. And I'm going to do the same for the females. I'm going to highlight the column. I'm going to go up to the little warning sign, click on it, and convert to number. And now we're actually ready to make the formulae. And so let's take care of the males under 5. So we're going to go in this cell over here in our sort of work area. And what we want to do is we want to calculate the actual number of males under 5. And so what we want to do is we want to multiply the percentage by the total. And so watch how the formula gets made. We're going to say equals, and now we're going to go over to the cell where the percentage of males under 5 is. And so let's just watch this carefully. There's the row. That's the cell address. And now what we want to do is we want to multiply that percentage by the total. And the total in the cohort is right up here. But we need one little trick here to make sure that we set up a formula that doesn't look at what Excel calls relative addresses, but does what Excel calls absolute addresses. And so watch this. We're still in the box with the formula, so over here. And to multiply in Excel, you use the asterisk. And now we're going to point to this cell right there. And if we did that calculation, it would give us the result that we want. But we actually want to repeat that calculation for all of the other cohorts. And so we want an absolute address. And the way that you do that is by using a $ before the letter and a $ before the number. And so the formula would be H12 asterisk $H $10. But Excel has a shortcut for that, which is pressing the F4 key. I'm going to press F4, and you'll see now that those $ are there. Now it's an absolute address, and you can see in the data set over here that now that cell is sort of, it's got the sort of chattering lines, and it's colored kind of pink. And so I'm going to press return, and it's now done the calculation for us. And so let's just go back and look at the formula. There it is. There's the formula right there. H12, equals H12 multiplied by H10, and there's a result. And now we're going to go to the bottom. See if I float, there's a plus. We're going to go to the bottom corner. Do you see it change to, instead of a white plus, it changes to a black plus? Float over the corner. Hold your left mouse button down. This is on a PC. And drag down, and that formula will be copied. And just check and look what happens. In here, it's H13 times H10. Here, it's H27 times H10. And so that absolute address has been kept every time. Let's do one other thing. Let's calculate a sum, a total for that column. I'm going to use an Excel formula for this. It's equals, sum, open parentheses, and now we're going to highlight the range. We're going to click in the top, we're going to hold the shift key down, click in the bottom, and close the parentheses, and now we have a total. Now I want you to look at this total fairly carefully. Let's just highlight that so we can see it, and let's highlight that total so we can see it. you'll notice that this total is 300. Maybe I'll just increase the... It's a little bit better. I should have done that in the first place. You'll notice that the total here is 365,596.7, and the total here is 364,867. Well, these are rounded percentages. These are rounded percentages. And so there's going to be a little bit of noise in when you do the multiplication to actually get the total. Also, there is a margin of error. This doesn't affect the calculation, but I just wanted to point out that the margin of error is given on the on each of the percentages and on the total. Let's do the females. We're going to do the same operation. So let's just be clever here so you can see what's happening and do the same highlighting. I'll highlight that total as well. So we're going to start with the under 5, and we're going to do exactly the same operation. We're going to use equals. We're going to point to the percentage. We're going to multiply, which is using the asterisk. We're going to point to the total, and we're going to press F4 to fix it as an absolute address. Press return, and it does the calculation. And now what we're going to do is we're going to click on the corner. Notice how the white cross changes to a black cross. We're going to drag this down, and it's going to calculate the totals. So let's just try that again. It should do it. There we go. I don't know why I didn't do it the previous time. And so now we have those two values, and let's just calculate the total, and we can do that by a drag as well. Since it's a formula, we can copy the formula to an adjacent cell by using the little drag over. So we're going to wait for the black cross, drag it over. It's done the calculation, and it dragged over the formatting as well, so it turned to yellow. That's all right. And we notice that it's 376,541. And this is 375,790. There's a little bit of difference, but I think we're okay. We got one more thing to do. We need to go over in the spreadsheet just to give ourselves a little bit more room here. And this is the last piece of housekeeping we'll do on cleaning and sort of structuring the data. And that is that the values in all of these cells include a formula. And so if we were to copy these and paste them into the spreadsheet, we would actually not get the results. We actually need to paste in numbers. And so the data has to be what's called a value, not a formula. And so what we're going to do is we're going to learn right now how to change the result of a formula into a value. And it's a pretty easy job. Let's make a couple of headers. So we're going to put values here. And we're going to put male and female. Oops, can't spell. And now what we're going to do is, watch the operation carefully. We're going to highlight the cells, the two rows. And we're going to put them on the clipboard. And so I use Control-C for that. And this is on a PC. Control-C. And now we're going to paste it, but we're not going to paste it straight away. We're going to highlight where we want this to go, which is right here. And we're going to click on the drop down by paste. And we're going to choose values. Now, we can click on this, or I think you can just press the letter V. I'm not absolutely positive. Try it either way, see if you can invent your own shortcut. But if we click on the values, and there are other choices. This says values and number formatting, so it was going to keep the formatting. This says values and source formatting. I'm just going to click on values because I already know their numbers, and for this minute I don't care about the decimal places, and so I'm just going to click on values. And when I clicked on values, the numbers were pasted in. Now you might say, wait a minute, that is 32838, and that's identical. But don't look at the number, look at what's producing the number. This is the product of a formula. This is the number itself. Look up here. And so it's a value in the formula bar. And so what we have is, we have our raw data now, our numerical data, ready to actually be pasted into the pyramid template. Now, before we do that, let's just do one other piece of housekeeping, and this is more for aesthetics than anything else. Let's just highlight our values, and let's get rid of the decimal places. Since we know there can't be decimal people, let's right click, and we're going to format cells, and we're going to choose number, and we're just going to decrease the decimal place to 0, and there they are. Now, we've formatted the numbers, but if you look up here, they're still carrying the decimals. It just looks a little bit, it makes more sense to have numbers that are actually people, if you get my meaning, rather than parts of people. Okie dokie. Highlight them. Put them on the clipboard. Let's find the other template, which I think I have open. There it is, Excel population pyramid. And depending on the institution that you're working at, or if you're working independently, you may have been provided this template with a slightly different file name in a slightly different format. But it's the same template. And this is an old template, but it works so well, I don't mess with it. And there are some people who try to build their own templates. If you want to do that, go right ahead. This one works. And so I stick with it. We're going to highlight the fields where our numbers are actually going to be pasted. We have to be careful here because the ACS data has an 85 plus upper cohort, not a 90 plus. So only highlight down to 85 to 89. Now we're going to press Control V, and our numbers are in. Our numbers are in. And just for completeness, we have to go in the 90 plus and get rid of that value, and go in the 90 plus and get rid of that value. And the template knows, and so now it adjusts the labels. And so we have now a completed pyramid data set. These tabs are the pyramids, and you'll notice the percent of total population is in red. And that's because most of the time when we want to do comparative pyramids, say between a state and a county or city or congressional district, or between two congressional districts, we use the percentage of total population. Let's click on it. And there's the pyramid, and I'm actually going to shrink back the view so we can see it on one screen. And you can see that the pyramid I've chosen is fairly wide at its base. And let's just do the usual check here. Do we need to adjust the axes? Well, I don't think so, because the longest bars are right between the last two axis values, and so the pyramid fills the screen. It's not disproportionate on one side to the other, the same for the females, and so I'm perfectly happy with this pyramid. And I'm actually going to decrease it just one more step, and I'm going to take this pyramid and I'm going to decrease the zoom one more step. Come on, right there. And I'm going to actually put this pyramid into a PowerPoint slide. And I'm not sure I have PowerPoint started, so I might just pause for 1 second. So I have PowerPoint open now. So let's get the pyramid ported over into PowerPoint. And I'm going to highlight from cell A3, and I'm going to go over to column M. And usually I go down to cell 37, and I leave off the titles and the labels, and I put those in Excel. You can go back to L if you want. It doesn't really matter. But I go to M so I get the line work there. And I'm going to put this highlighted graphic on the clipboard with Control C. And you'll see the flashing lines come around. I'm going to use Alt Tab to get to my PowerPoint presentation. I'm going to make sure I'm at the Home button. The Home tab. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to paste this, and if you've done this before with a pyramid, you'll know exactly what I'm doing. I'm going to click on the drop down, and I'm going to choose Paste Special. And I'm going to use the first choice, which says Microsoft Excel Worksheet Object. And I'm going to say OK. And now the pyramid is right in the mix here of my slide, and I'm happy with the way that it looks. I've got percent here, which is a little off center. Yeah, I might slap a text box over that if it bothers me that much. I'm going to center this, and the way I'm going to center it is I'm going to center the dashes. I'm going to center the dashes of the data labels right over my grid line in PowerPoint, and that really sort of helps me get my orientation. And we might put a text box in here, and this is an age sex pyramid for the, what district was it? 14th Congressional District in Texas. And I'm going to put 1/14th Congress. And I'm going to press Control E to center that. And I'm going to make sure that is centered. Oops. Right there. I'm happy with that. If I wanted it to, that's centered right on the same centering, I could make that bold, and I could use the Shift Control greater than just to increase the font size, and I could just make it a little wider to get the title to go all on one line, and recenter it just slightly. Fine work here. And then we need to put the data source on here. Now we know it's the ACS 5-year estimate, and we could type that out, but we could also go back to the original spreadsheet, scroll down. Oops, I'm not far enough over to the left. Scroll down, and I think they wrote a little source for us right there. You see that? And so I'm actually going to take that text right from the formula bar right there. I'm going to put that on the clipboard. I'm going to go back in my PowerPoint, insert a text box down at the bottom, and I'm going to paste that text in. And in this case, I'm going to highlight it, Control A, and I'm going to use Shift Control less than to shift the size. I'm going to make it bold, which is Control B. I'm going to center it in the box, Control E, and whoops, I lost my handle on it. I'm going to center it on the screen. Let's just see, am I happy with that? And you can move the boxes around with the arrows too. They move very small amounts, and so if your mouse or your touchpad doesn't get you to where you need to be, you can use the arrows. And actually, I think that's drawing my eye a little bit too much, and so I'm going to just decrease its size slightly, make it italics, and maybe from the home screen just make it slightly less slightly less. Let me try this. Yeah, that's what I want. Just slightly less drawing of my eye. And there's a source. And up top here, I'm not sure I did get that to be bold. No, I did. No, I didn't. So I'm going to make that bold. And again, adjust the width a little bit. And make sure I got it centered. And that would be a pyramid that I might use. Everything's centered, nicely proportioned, the axes are good. And for a congressional district, this is a very young population. This is a very young population, and if you were to try to be elected from this congressional district, getting young people out to vote would seem to be a pretty important electoral strategy. Let's do one more thing. Let's just look at it in full screen. We'll press F5. And that's the PowerPoint slide that we would see in a presentation. And that's where I'm going to end this particular video. And thanks for watching.